Earthrise story probably began billions of years ago. I think some of us are playing a part in a bigger story of what's unfolding in the planet. In 2020, there were lockdowns. I think as activists, who are generally on the streets or trying to push for change, there was a lot of introspection about what's going on the planet. A lot of questions, each one of us were asking ourselves, asking each other as individuals, activists, as organizations. And as I started my own inquiry, I wondered what other people were reflecting on. So it led to many bilateral conversations, just conversations about what's going on. And then after a few months, we thought, why don't we have a collective conversation? So in August 2020, we didn't even know it was full moon. We decided to have a first call. And during the call, someone pointed out, actually, it's full moon today. The conversation was really fascinating and interesting. So we can't keep rehashing the things we've tried before. What are we missing? And I think in that conversation, different types of activists started bringing different things into the space. Part of it was prophecy and ancient wisdom that wasn't shared before. Part of it was going beyond strategies that have been tried before. But also part of the conversation became, how do we do this differently? How do we be on this planet differently? How do we try different things? And the conversation weaved into also a decolonization conversation, because we've been taught in a certain way, because of the violations, the repressions across the globe. We felt like, how do we also decolonize our minds, break free from the shackles of what we've been forced to learn? And as that journey started to unfold, every month you had someone from a different tradition, different community, or different space sharing their reflections, sharing what they know, sharing what their ancestors held for centuries. And it became a fascinating unfolding, a fascinating weaving, and just a beautiful journey. And at different points, over the last 3 years or so, people started coming and connecting. I met many people, as so did others on, that were part of a group. Where we are now is kind of looking at how do we find a way through the crisis we're in, all the intersecting crises that are there, the patriarchy, the racism, the environmental crisis, the warming of the oceans. And the reality is, this is not a crisis for the future. People, especially poor people, people on coastal areas, are already facing the impacts of, with drought and shortage of water and so on. So this is not a future thing. People are dealing with it now, and, inequality plays out because, the rich have got some buffers and can move and buy new places, or weather the storm out for a bit longer. And, many of the causes, as we know, the drivers have been, large-scale agriculture, fossil fuels, and so on. So the people that, are dealing with the consequences were not the ones that created the situation. But we are at a time where we have to find a way through it. And the only way we'll find our way through it is us doing it collectively. And that's what the Earthrise Collective has become.